The Simpsons! Hello and welcome to another English podcast with Paul. I'm your host, Paul. And as always, unedited, unscripted, natural, native English conversation. Basically, I just talk about what I want to talk about and then I tell you how I feel about it. Right, okay, let's jump in. So, The Simpsons, right, number one, right. The Simpsons. Dysfunctional sitcom with sincerity and satire that resonates and slapstick. All right, so those are the key words that I've picked out of why The Simpsons is such a good TV show to watch when you're learning English. Now, I know it's American English, which is easier for more simple people, but the whole ambiance of The Simpsons is so much more about fun. And The Simpsons is actually very, very good. The writers and the creators are amazing the way they put together some of these complex stories and dark sides of our own human nature. It's really fantastic. So 1989, it's actually the world's longest running animated sitcom. One of the reasons they were able to do such crazy things on the show was because the writers had already had some positive shows on that network. And so the network were comfortable and felt safe that these people knew what they were doing and it would turn out well. They've won a lot of awards since, but that is the main reason that they were allowed to have that freedom and that creativity to do what they want. Now, one of the things I did whilst researching this was I looked at 15 facts about The Simpsons. And one of them that made me really smile, well, two of them, I'll tell you, two of them. One that really made me smile, first of all, was that in all the scenes, everybody only doesn't have 5 fingers. I think that they have 3 digits and a thumb. And the only characters that do not have that, and they have the full hand, is sometimes Jesus, not always, and God. God always has a full human hand, but all the other characters don't. So watch out for that next time you're watching The Simpsons. See if you can spot it. All right. The other thing that I saw in this fun fact that I thought was very funny and made me interested was that The Simpsons are made yellow on purpose. So when you're flicking through all these channels and you see a blip of yellow go by, you go, ah, that's The Simpsons. And you can find it very quickly and easily. And that was done on purpose. I thought, wow, that's a clever mind that thought of that. That's a clever individual. Okay. There's lots of famous cameos. All right, cameos on The Simpsons. So cameos is like a very, very short piece where a famous person comes in or somebody else comes in for a short space of time and goes out again. So there's been lots of famous cameos, like Michael Jackson, very famous. People from rock bands throughout the 80s and 90s. Many, many celebrities. You know, it's almost, you're not a real celebrity unless you've been on The Simpsons. But even Donald Trump has been on The Simpsons. And one of the things they talk about with The Simpsons is that they have made a surprisingly accurate number of accurate predictions about the future, like when it comes to Donald Trump, winning the election and things like this. That there's a little bit of like conspiracy theory going on, thinking that The Simpsons know what's happening in the future. That just shows you, it just gives credit to the writers, how they're thinking, about what's happening in society, what's going on in the world. And the writers are really very, very clever to be thinking about these things, that some of them even come true. Okay. Another good thing about The Simpsons is the colors. The colors, you don't often see that in TV shows on the telly, so it's really quite vivid and catches your eye, and it's nice to see that contrast of some nice bright colors. And the voices, oh my goodness, not just having these cameos of famous people, they often have the real actor come in and give the voice for their character on The Simpsons. So you get to see the massive amount of famous people that support The Simpsons by coming on and giving their voice. It's a brilliant. The independent episode. You can watch one episode of The Simpsons on its own, and you don't need to know the rest of the season or the rest of the year to be able to keep up and know what's happening. But also it's very good when they have some special themed, like Halloween or something like that. It's really, really nice to see it a bit different. Creators really pushing the boundaries of what they can get away with. And when I say like getting away with things, because sometimes you'll see that The Simpsons are on 2 or 3 levels. The children are laughing at maybe something very satire and gruesome, like the Itchy and Scratchy show. And the children are laughing and then the adults are like, hang on a minute, that means something else. There's a double story going on here. And that's so clever that the way they're able to seamlessly put in these 2 or 3 levels. It's amazing. Right, what else we got? Yeah, there's no grammar to worry about. There's no punctuation to worry about. There's a lot of common language used in it for everybody to understand. And like that little bit of slang, the contractions where you miss out a couple of letters and squish the words together. Because that's what happens in everyday conversation. So that's why it's really good. It's also fun and silly. And as I always say to you guys, if you're having fun, then you're going to learn. But if it's serious and hard going or upsetting, you're not going to learn it. It's got to be easy and fun. So I implore you, watch The Simpsons. It's amazing. They even now have a movie. I say now, the movie's been out for many, many years, but they have a movie of The Simpsons. And you can buy loads and loads and loads of merchandise, whether it's a little piece of Lego Bart Simpson, or a coaster or a t-shirt. You can buy everything with Simpsons on it now. So much merchandise. Even the theme song, it hasn't changed in decades. And so everybody recognizes the theme tune. Just close your eyes now. And unless you're driving, don't do it if you're driving. And just think of the theme tune. It's always there in the back of your mind, the movie, the theme tune. So yeah, it's silly, there's no punctuation, it's fun, it's relatable. You can relate, in your own lives to some of the problems that the Simpsons go through, whether it's the children, Homer wanting to kill Bart Simpson, or Marge and Lisa fighting over things, and feeling that separation. It's so relatable on multiple levels, not just for the parents, but for the children as well. Brilliant. What else we got? You can watch it again and again and again. It's passive. You can leave it on in the background. It doesn't matter if somebody walks in. It's still safe. It's safe for your children to watch. The vocabulary. Now, this is why lots and lots of language professionals say the Simpsons is so good. It's because they repeat interesting and more advanced words multiple times. I think it said, and this is a quote, "The Simpsons is by far the TV show with the most advanced words repeated 10 times or more." So what can I say about that? Advanced words repeated 10 times or more. and you're smiling and it's just flowing. So there's no good reason not to watch it. You know, they've got meaningful stories. This spawns new words as well, like "don't." That word come from The Simpsons, and other phrases like "eat my shorts," you know, "don't have a cow, man." Some of these catchphrases and idioms just created from that TV show. It's amazing. All right. Other great shows for you to tune into and to find. You might have to look hard on the internet. Some of them are a little bit old. All right. So my favorite top 10 plus an honorable mention. So one bonus, an honorable mention. So number 1, obviously, The Simpsons. Who can disagree with that? Number 2, The Big Bang Theory. Now, again, lots of bright colors, lots of laughing, and yes, it's American. And it's slightly scientific. Some of it is a little bit scientific, but you don't need that to follow along. It's basically the story of 2 socially awkward young men that are not your average kind of muscular men. They're very awkward, nerdy kind of guys. And then a pretty girl that's very much sociable moves in across the hallway from them. And this series goes on for like 8 or 9 years. And so you follow the stories and the progression and how their friends become, I think it become like 5 or 6 of them. And you watch their lives unfold and all the other relatable issues that we have, you know, and the anxiety and the nervousness and the worry, all mostly coming through these 2 guys. So that is really good to watch as well. You know, each episode doesn't necessarily have to follow on to the next one. So you can pick it up anywhere. And like I said, because there's so many of them, you can binge watch as many as you like, you know, and go through the whole lot. All right then, what's number 3? Now, I don't know why I put this as number 3. Maybe they're not in a good order, but the Ricky Gervais show is kind of a TV show. Now, this is British and it's animated. And I got a little bit confused. I thought some of it was funny and it's nice to listen to a British accent and animated. But I got a little bit confused and I don't know if it should be in my top 10. It's a bit, it was in everybody else's top 10, so that's probably why I put it in and thought, well, I should have it. But yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about this one. Ricky Gervais show, animated. He laughs in it a lot, so you feel compelled to laugh because they're laughing. All right, number 4, and I'm sure you've all heard this one, Friends. The TV show, the American TV show, Friends. Again, it ran for years and years and years. The English is nice and straightforward. Again, you follow a group of friends through their lives. And it's almost like part of my growing up, you know, because I watched it years and years and years ago. Well, there we go. What else can you say? It's full of pretty people having silly lives and it's easy to watch. All right, okay. Now, number 5, again, British accent. This is Carpool Karaoke. Carpool Karaoke. And this has got James Corden in it. Now, James Corden, if you don't know, was in a program called Gavin and Stacey. So the Gavin and Stacey. That was a TV show that he and Ruth, I can't think of her second name now, that he and Ruth wrote. So he's been a British actor for sort of 10, 20 years now as he's grown up. And he's become really famous in America now, quite a lot because of this Carpool Karaoke. And the outline of this is that they pick up famous singers in their car and drive them around for a bit and have a bit of a sing-song and a little bit of an interview whilst in the car. And it's all recorded. It comes across as very natural and relaxed. I think some of it might be a little bit staged, but it's very, very relaxed and calm and no, not relaxed and calm, very relaxed and natural conversation and fun. So I think most of it is filmed in LA. in America in the car. But some of it I think is also in the UK, because obviously the UK has some great singer-songwriters as well. All right, so that's number 5, Carpool Karaoke. Right then, number 6. Now, this one's a bit heavy. Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. Now, I recommend this only for advanced learners because it gets quite heavy and confusing, but it's a real amazing drama, thriller, action, adventure kind of TV show. Again, it goes on for a lot of years, so you can watch the whole lot in one go now and binge watch it. But it's fantastic TV show. People have been talking about it. I think it finished like 7 or 8 years ago now, but people are still watching it now from the beginning, still brand new, and it's just wow. Really, really great, really good TV show. Once you get into it, you're connected with the actors, you're connected with the storylines, and it's some amazing stuff, you know, for an adult to watch. It's some amazing good stuff. It gets you hooked. It's really, really good. Breaking Bad. Okay. Number 7. Now, this isn't everybody's favorite. BBC Newsround. Newsround. So it's aimed at teenagers to listen and digest some of the news around the world in smaller bite-sized chunks. And it's also much more positive, many more happy stories in the news. So recently they covered the women's football and they had some interviews and the children got excited watching the women's football. So that's a nice thing to watch because there's lots of different little snippets. BBC Newsround. All right, so that was number 7. Right, number 8. I'm sure many of you already watched this. The Great British Bake Off. So as it might give a clue in the title, baking cakes. There's often 1 or 2 celebrities presenting the show. And then obviously normal people are baking their cakes in a set program, and they get to test the results and talk about it. It's often quite funny and silly, and you learn about the lives of these people. But it's good English, and you get to hear a variety of accents. So you might have people from all over the country with different accents. Makes it for a good, well-rounded listen. I recommend it. Okay. Number 9, Sherlock Holmes. So we're going back to RP, received pronunciation. Sherlock Holmes. I find it very interesting. Good for the academic mind or those that like mysteries. Sherlock Holmes is quite good at keeping you engaged. All right. And number 10, you probably guessed. No, it's not Downton Abbey. Not Downton Abbey, no. It is The Crown. The Crown. So I don't know what season we're on now, but even us British people know it's a dramatization, but it's kind of as it was. It's kind of real. The Crown. Very good show. Gets you engaged. That's actually what happened in the UK. That is our royal family, as you will. Very, very good to watch. All right, now, as I said, the honourable mentions, the bonus. Okay, so we have, now this is for adults, as I said, Futurama, which I quite like Futurama. It's good. You can watch several of them. Again, they're independent, created by the same people that made The Simpsons, Matt Groening and the other guys. I really like it. A bit of fun again. Often you hear teenagers watching it. And the next one, a bit more adult again, is Family Guy. Now, this is for only the very advanced levels. There's a lot of euphemisms and double entendres. All right, so lots of sexual connotations. All right, so that's the honourable mentions Family Guy. Now, for children, obviously a lot of you have children, I would recommend number 1, Peppa Pig. Everybody watches Peppa Pig when they're learning English. It's all over the place. Peppa Pig, Peppa Pig. Ugh. It's a bit sickening, but there's lots of it. It's easy to find and it's safe. All right, so Peppa Pig is number 1. Number 2, we have, just for fun, the Pink Panther animated TV show. There's very little words in it, but it's engaging for children to watch. All right. Again, very little words. Number 3, very little words in it. Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean. All right. Number 4, Paddington Bear. Very quintessential British. Paddington Bear with his sandwiches. We've got a soft spot in our heart for Paddington Bear. He's been around for a long, long time. You can buy teddies of Paddington Bear in many tourist places in the UK, whether it's London or I don't know, Heathrow, something like that. All right, number 5, Hey Dougie. Hey Dougie, the animated series. The young boy's a football or a rugby ball shaped head. This is quite interesting to watch. All right, okay. And then a bonus one bonus would be Sesame Street. Sesame Street. So that has been around for a long, long time as well. So that song gets stuck in your head. All right, Sesame Street. Very safe for children. Very good. And again, you hear different accents as you watch through it. Okay, the last thing I was going to suggest really is things to listen to. So if you really want to improve your level of English and you want to get out there, you need to have English in your life on a daily basis. Maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day. So you could watch a TV show in the evening, but during the day you could have the BBC Radio on. BBC Radio 2 or BBC Radio 4 can be a bit more interesting, a little less young and funky and crazy. But I really recommend having lots and lots of English in your life to get up to that next level. Right, so obviously number 1, we're talking now podcast. To have English in your life every day, maybe in a car or on your commute to work, listening to a podcast. So obviously number 1 is English podcast with Paul. That goes without saying. Obviously, yeah, you love it. You're listening to it now. Right. Number 2, the Level Up English podcast. Now this guy is very good as well. Michael, he does lots of little bits about grammar and lots of snippets, lots of short videos. But he does do some long podcasts as well. All right, I like Michael. Give a thanks and a shout out to Michael. And maybe you could subscribe to his channel as well. Level Up English. The third one, again, another good one. Lots and lots of podcasts. Luke's English podcast. Luke, L-U-K-E. Luke, and then apostrophe S. Luke's English podcast. Lots and lots of videos. His podcasts are a lot longer than mine. They're normally like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 or 3 hours. So if you're going on a long journey, that would be ideal to listen to. These are a lot of interesting topics. All right. Number 4, English like a native. Now, I really like her voice. It's really easy to listen to, very soothing. Again, she does lots of different things and long podcasts. English like a native. And then 5thly, Jack to Fluency. To Fluency. Again, another good guy for podcast and shorts and short videos. To Fluency. Right, that's it. That's all I've got, really. Well, so let me know in the comments, what's your favorite podcast? What do you do to get English into your ears? You know, do you watch movies? Do you go to the cinema? What do you do to get it all, cram it all into your ears? All this English. Let me know in the comments what you do to get it all in. Okay, and also let me know about my list. Do you think my list is good? Do you think I should add some more to my list? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So, as always, Thanks for watching and have fun learning. If you don't have fun learning, you're not learning. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.